Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Hi, Carlos. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since we've done an episode of Car Chat. People has
Yes,
been asking, and we have, of course, many topics, but life has been busy. Yeah.
but we accumulated some good topics.
Oh, we have topics galore until the end of times if we want to.
Okay.
This episode is special. We're gonna talk about my Audi R8 Ghost. And particularly, what was the process for us to secure the car? How did we get there? How did I make the decision? What was the process to find the car? And then, how you got involved in helping me secure the car, which is, that's
Yeah.
not luck. I don't know what it is, right? I love the car. I've had it now for what, since March this year, I
Yeah,
think.
pretty much. I think in April got delivered to your place.
Yeah, like beginning of April,
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah.
Um, uh, as you have probably seen in some previous videos, I'm already doing some mods to it, installing some carbon fiber, and the car is amazing. I think I'm gonna keep that car for many years. Of course, I always say that. And we'll see, right? But I think I will. I always wanted to have that car, and it's a fantastic vehicle. And I just want to share how I got there, right? And then what was your involvement, Carlos? So
Mhm.
when I started, this goes back to when I took my money back from the Lotus dealership. Remember, I was in
Disappointed,
line. Yeah,
heartbroken.
yeah, heartbroken because I was not gonna get my Lotus Emira for quite some time, and I said enough is enough. I'm gonna look for another car, and I think I did the right thing. Started
Yeah.
looking for different cars, but the R8 was the one I really wanted. First generation. I wanted one with possibly low mileage, but that's hard to find.
Yeah.
I always wanted the white.
Mhm.
It was the Iron Man car when, remember, Tony Stark showed up in the
Yeah,
R8.
yeah,
You were watching that movie, you were like, whoa, what is that spaceship?
yeah.
With that, like black side to the car, the
The
blades.
blades in black.
Oh man, that was iconic. So I wanted that car. So this is what I did, right? And this video is not sponsored by Auto Tempest, but I use Auto Tempest because it searches all the search engines for cars. So I did
Very
mark
useful.
all of the R8s, V10s, manual and non-manual. Manuals are almost impossible to get.
Right.
And then I did that for a couple of weeks. I was just looking at different cars, the condition. Many were like heavily modified, others were not in great condition. And then
Mileage.
I finally found this gem sitting somewhere in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, Michigan? Wait a minute. I know somebody that lives in Michigan.
That's right.
So I called Carlos, and I think you looked at the map, and you were how far away from the dealership?
Roughly a couple hours from here. Let's say that's not
Couple.
far, dude.
Was it Lansing, Michigan?
No, it was in Grand Rapids.
Oh, Grand Rapids, right,
Yeah.
right. So many pictures. The dealership had great pictures, many of them too.
They did.
So it looked like it was well kept. But then that's when you came in, right? Where you volunteered to just drive there
Yep.
and check the car for me,
Yep.
and then you did. Tell me about how that happened.
Well, tell you what, the pictures tells 1,000 words, but at the end of the day, when you're in person, you get to see things you don't see in the pictures.
Nothing like it.
And once you get up close, you can see the quality of the paint finish. You can see the any minute details, chips, and areas that when you take a picture about 10 feet out, you don't see at all.
Right.
And it was a whole process. I went up there prepared. I took with me the Carfax and the information you had given me, and I made a list of all the things I wanted to check. I wanted to look at all the things that we have seen and known that Audi R8s could be prone for. But beyond that, I wanted to make sure I did a bumper to bumper review of the car and look at everything I could see.
And you did, my friend. That was
And I
impressive.
did.
That
And
was
I
impressive.
did.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, and I created my own check sheets, and I can tell you, I got right here all the sections of all the car I wanted to inspect: exterior, interior, electrical, mechanical, suspension components, I mean, everything I could find. Getting down in the ground, looking underneath, especially suspension around where the
Right.
shocks could be. We all know Magnerite shocks, right, on the car. It's
Yeah.
always about
Common
when
problem.
are they going to fail, not whether or not they're going to fail.
Exactly.
So we checked those, and basically I was making sure that at least on the body panels, we didn't find any surprises. On the electrical, mechanical, inside out, that engine bay looked like it was pristine. Somebody was just cleaning it every time and kept it up very, very nicely. The front end looked pristine. The wheels, to my surprise, with that mileage of the car, they were totally immaculate.
They had no road rash at all.
No rash, no marks, no dent, nothing. Zero. They look like brand new. The brakes look fantastic for the mileage the car has. Even so, it's like this car has been very well driven and taken care of over time. The tires look like they were very new or relatively new with very, very low mileage, if any.
10-year-old car, and it had 13,000 miles only,
right,
which is amazing.
Yeah, and in the Carfax, it listed 3 previous owners, but in reality, I only probably say 2, because the first one only had it for 155 miles, and that could have been a dealer purchase. A manager had it, or owner bought it and kept it for 3 or 4 months, and they said sell it. So that, to me, it doesn't count. Only 2 people had it in their hands, in my mind, the way I see it.
Right.
I checked everything there, and even took with me my little OBD machine. I plugged it in, I read the codes, I looked everything that I could find. There was no faults, no issues, and the car running at idle. And it was like fantastic.
For those wondering if they can hire you for car inspection services, you're still not incorporated. You're
not
you still have a day
incorporated yet,
job.
but after doing this, what would you say? Were you satisfied?
I was more than satisfied. I've never seen an inspection like this. I have used pre-purchase inspection before.
Yeah.
And your report was more detailed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was impressive. The only complaint that I have is that you were non-responsive during the day. And you're there with the car. I'm here in North Carolina, desperate to know, and you decided not to even answer my text. You were absolutely focused on the task, but ignoring the customer.
I did on purpose, because I knew I had something special in my hands there.
Right. No,
and
no,
I
but
said,
people need to know that then once you finish, you told me I finished and go and drive back home. And then I said,
that was torture.
Let me talk to him while he's driving, because he's got nothing to do for the next 2 hours. But no, you said, I'll call you when I get home.
I'll call you when I get home. That's what I said.
I have 5 pages of a report. I'm like, pages? Report? What are we talking about here?
I wrote it down. I wrote everything down, and I said, look, I can go by memory, but I'm going to miss some stuff. And I say, if you can wait about hour and a half more until I get home, which was torture for you.
That's insane. By the way, I'm putting video here of some of the video you took.
The clips and some of the videos I took while I was there.
And some of the pictures you took while there, so that people can see. But man, it was torture.
I just didn't want to miss something that I wrote down. So I said, when I get home, you and I are going to sit down and go through the list. And I went page by page, everything I documented. And you were like, your mouth was down here like, oh my God, I got to do this.
Yes.
That was the bottom line.
Yeah, you pretty much said, Irvin, if you don't buy this car, I'm buying it. Pretty much.
I did say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, but at that time, it was like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
And just next step was to negotiate the price.
Yeah.
And
then get it shipped.
We got to the right price. The shipping happened rather quickly, just a few days later.
I did volunteer to drive it, guys. He said he'd rather have it shipped. And I say, you answer below in the messages whether I should have driven it back to him.
10.5 hours from Michigan to here.
10.5 hours plus 2 to Grand Rapids. That's about 12.5. But hey, I take a day in between, take a little break, and drive it all the way down there. He would have enjoyed that.
You could have done that. You earned it, right? With your services. Yeah, the lack of response is separate, right? I'll give you 2 stars on that one, but I give you the 5 stars on your inspection, which I mean, it was impressive, Carlos. I mean, you found what I know now that is probably the one thing that is wrong with the car, which was
the front driver
Magna.
Magna shock was leaking, and you could tell at the bottom evidence of the oil residue around it. I said, okay, this one's leaky. The other ones were perfect. Everything was dry, very well taken care of. And say, drive it. I couldn't drive it at that moment because the car, it was number one, raining, and number two, you still haven't made up your mind whether or not you were going forward with it,
right?
You didn't know anything about it. And he says, no, until the customer is already said, hey, transaction is done. Yeah, I could have gone and take a ride. I said, no, by that point, it's like I have to come another day.
Right.
And I say, I trust you guys in pretty good shape. Everything that I look around and when idle and start it up and get it running, it's like everything's fantastic. So
give and take, right? So yes, the front driver Magna ride is failing, which is common problem with those cars. They're gonna fail whether you use the car or whether the car is sitting.
Yep.
Actually, I hear that the car sitting for long periods of time is even worse. So it's a matter of what to do, right? Either refurbishing, reconstructing the Magna rides. There's a company that they do that, or buying new ones, or which are super expensive, or going for coilovers and a different system.
Yep.
I think I've decided to rebuild it because I don't put many miles on the car, and the others seem to be holding well. But who knows, right? I think I'm gonna do that soon. I'm gonna obviously create a video of that process so you can see what it looks like and the whole thing.
Right.
However, there was something we didn't know about the car, Carlos, until maybe weeks after I had the car here. Actually, I took it to a Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
And a fellow owner said, do you put those tail lights aftermarket? I'm like, no, what are you talking about? He said, those are not the tail lights for that car.
Right.
Those are the R8 V10 GT tail lights. And I'm like, what? So he opened the car, and yes, there's a plaque at the door that says Audi Exclusive Selection Edition.
Right.
And little
I remember the plaque. I remember the plaque, but at that point, I thought it was just a trim series. Like any other, nothing.
I thought all of them had that plaque, right?
Yeah.
But what I didn't know is that for 2012, that was a special edition of this car.
Right.
And they only made 30 for the US, all of them in Ibis white with the black optic package, and only 30 of those, only 20 in the V8s, and the V8s were all Daytona gray. So it's one of 30.
V10 white.
That's a very limited edition of that car.
Right.
I think that adds a lot of value to the car. It's got white stitching on the doors. It's got the white dials. It's got the lighted door seal, right? That the normal car doesn't bring. It's got extra carbon fiber package on the inside. Like I said, it's got the GT taillights. It's got the black optic side blades. There's a couple of other things. I forget now.
One of the things that make the car really nice is that Ibis white painted interior section.
Oh, yes.
On the console on the side.
Yes.
And that little section that they did on the door.
Yes.
And that to me pops. And when I look at it, it's like, well, it looks a little different. So it must be that special trim or model trim series that they did. And it looks pretty cool.
It looks
not cool. Knowing that it was a limited edition version.
We didn't know. I love the white dials. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the car. just
Yeah.
to look at the white dials. But yeah, 1 of 30. So, I mean, I think we did well, Carlos. I
I
mean,
thought so.
we found a gem, if I'm honest. The car is in incredible condition.
Yep.
And now with everything I'm doing to it, that car is going to look even more awesome. It's a great driver car. Let me tell you, people know I have a McLaren. I've had V8s. This is a V10, and there's nothing in the world like a downshifting of a V10. The way that sounds, it's like nothing in the world like a Ferrari V12. Yeah, established. Nothing in the world like a Lamborghini V10 downshifting, because this engine is the same engine in the Lamborghini Gallardo, right?
Right.
That is awesome. When you downshift in the highway, it sounds incredible. It sounds better than my McLaren, any day of the week. So,
I believe that.
and I might do something to make it sound even better, but that's for a
Dude, we gotta talk about that. That might be another video. What are you doing?
a different video about what we're
Check
doing
it
with the
out.
car. But yeah, I mean that is what happened here. That's how it happened. That's how I bought a car sight unseen. I had the benefit of having my best friend in Michigan to go look at it. He's a auto engineer, so he's probably better than many PPI companies out there. Maybe he'll monetize this and create an
That could be in
LLC
the cards.
some
I wouldn't
point.
mind doing some of this stuff. It was
You
fun.
know,
I enjoy it.
uh, hey, you could be a subsidiary of GarageBot's inspection services. I don't know, something like that.
We'll see.
We'll make you an investor.
There you
So
go.
anyway, that was awesome, Carlos. I'm super happy with the car.
Yep.
I'm gonna put the information here. Follow it on Instagram. It's ghost_R8. And as always, follow us on Instagram, GarageBots, and make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna put the link here. And there's many other topics coming for car chat very soon, Carlos. So people need to stay tuned. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
And let me say that Carlos is gonna come visit me, and we're
that's
gonna
coming.
make some content here in person with interesting cars. That's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a whole series of videos. So stay tuned. Watch out for that. And as always, thank you for subscribing and supporting us. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Irving.
All right. See you
Yeah,
again
guys.
soon. Take care.
Bye.